Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another installment of BrickWall Reviews, or as we call it this month, BrickWall Horror. I know a different format this month. That's because, still dealing with a little bit of haunting. But Dave, and tonight we're going to be talking about the new version of Goosebumps, the 2023 version of Goosebumps that's now on Disney Plus. Before I get into it, remind you guys, go ahead, hit that like button down below, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Follow us on social media. All links are in the description down below. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, and most importantly, thank you for all your support and just keep tuning in to this month's reviews of horror films. And over on Instagram, we're doing mini reviews as well for certain pieces of horror and everything. So with all that said, let me just go ahead and jump right into it. And again, in advance, I want to apologize. Different type of view, different audio quality. My laptop wanted to be a dick today. Excuse my French. So I just decided to go ahead because I want to give y'all this review since yesterday. I had time to record, and I want to give y'all this review since Friday the 13th. But, whatever. So anyway, what I'm going to be talking about is Goosebumps, the new version of Goosebumps, the 2023 version. Yeah, this is different. This is very much different. I was not expecting this version of Goosebumps to be like this, especially since it's on Disney Plus. I wasn't expecting it to be doing the things that it's doing. Like this is a more this is definitely an older version of Goosebumps. Like I know, like the original TV series was more like kid horror, so like yeah, it was scary, but it was still for kids to enjoy. Like I grew up in the '90s, early 2000s, stuff like that. So it's like you kind of see this version of Goosebumps that was, I think it was like in like '96 it came out, '97. So it was still a little spooky, but it wasn't too much. Like it was still enjoyable for kids because they played on like Saturday mornings and stuff like that, or like after school. Then you had the movies that came out like a couple years back with Jack Black and what's that guy's name? I forgot. It was Jack Black and it was like another. No, it was two different groups of kids, but Jack Black was in both of them. Moderate, not really much. Again, kid friendly, not too heavy on the scares and stuff like that. But this version here, this version said, yo, bump all that kid stuff. We're gonna push it. We're gonna push it to the limit a little bit, right? So this is produced by Sony Pictures Television, who does have like I think they have like a distribution deal with all the Goosebumps stuff, which is interesting. You could definitely tell this is made with by a different hand than Disney, because I don't think Disney would have went as hard for the series as Sony did, right? And that's respectful. That's respect. I say that respectfully, right? But like so far, this series has 5 episodes. They dropped the first 5 episodes on Friday the 13th. And the remaining 5 are going to come out throughout the course of the next couple of weeks. So I'm thinking this series will probably wrap up in like November. Or like really right. No, it's going to wrap up in November. There's no way they're going to get done with the other unless they drop like two. Unless they drop like 2 and then 3. Because it's 10 episodes total. I do know that. So like I said, this and it kind of does like it does something interesting. So it's like they're all the episodes are connected, but they don't like heavily rely on each other, right? And they kind of do a modern retelling of some of the more well-known R.L. Stine stories, R.L. Stine Goosebumps stories. For example, the first episode they do in the series is Say Cheese, which is based on the haunted camera that, causes a lot of trouble. I forgot how the story is in the book, but I do think it's different in the show, the modern show. Then they do the one, it's called Say Cheese and Die. They do the one about the cuckoo clock, where it's like they go back in time with it, I think, in the story. Like in the book story, not like in the show. I know they're going to be doing the Night of the Living Dummy with Slappy, which is I'm really waiting for that one. They do which other one they do? They do the one with the worms, where the kid like eats the worms and stuff like that. I didn't really read like all the stories, so like I don't like remember a lot of things that happened in the stories. So I didn't read all of them. What else they did? a couple other ones just in the first 5 episodes. They do cover a couple of stories, and it's just really interesting how they do that, how they touch on these stories and how they update it, and how it's like it fits into modern times. You know, you have like your modern sensibilities, like you have your LGBT themed storylines. You have like social media influence things, like, oh look, this person's using social media, and this is how social media would fit into this story here. And you just have like different types of stuff like that. And like I said, in terms of overarching story, you have a mystery with the parents, you have a mystery with the kids trying to figure out exactly how their parents may or may not be tied to this, which is not answered within the first 5 episodes, but it's heavily hinted. You have so many different things that come up. And outside of that, the show kind of pushes the limit of the horror and the gore, so to speak, right? Because like a lot of the things that are scary in the show, like there was one particular sequence, like while I'm watching this, there was one sequence that I saw. I'm not gonna say what it was, but as it's happening, I'm sitting there, I was like, oh, like I didn't expect it to look so like not horrifying. That's a little bit of an over exaggeration, but I didn't expect it to look so like, yeah, like I didn't expect it to look so gripping, I guess would be the term. And that's probably even still the wrong term I'm using, but like, yeah, like it was very, and it's one episode too. I think it's at the end of episode 3, right? No, episode 2. The end of episode 2. Yeah. The end of episode 2. Man, let me tell you, that bad boy had me going. I was like, whoa. Because like it really does something that I didn't think, like, again, that's when I was like, yo, yeah, Disney could not have done this. They did not solely produce this. And that's why I really was looking into it. I was like, oh shit, Sony was doing this. So like that makes a lot of sense. So yeah, I'm not gonna spoil what that was. Like, definitely go into that one without knowing what it was, because it's going. Okay, it's like right at the end of the episode, you can be like, oh, like it comes out of nowhere. Like literally comes out of nowhere. Last thing you would expect to happen. The episode with the worms was kind of wild. It made me laugh personally, but it was kind of wild. Yeah, so it's just like it was a whole bunch of different things that they do in this series that's like it definitely updates it. It definitely makes it a bit more mature. It makes it a bit more outside of just making it a bit more mature, it makes it just I'm sorry, y'all, I had to move around a bit. But yeah, like it's definitely something that, like, I don't know, like I like I said, I personally just didn't see it being this entertaining, right? Like, granted, some of the stories and some of like the dialogue and the plot beats are kind of like, okay, that's a little CW-ish, or okay, that's a little ridiculous. Like there are some things like I've audibly laughed at. I was like, oh, that's just stupid. Like it was one part where this kid, he's like an adrenaline junkie. And it's like he's doing like all this weird adrenaline stuff in the beginning of the episode. All of a sudden, like, stops to go into his personal life. He's just like, doing this for you, Dad. Doing this for you, Dad. To be great as you were, Dad. Like, I was just like, excuse me. I was just like, okay, yeah, no, that's cheesy. That's really cheesy. So they do a couple like cheesy things there, but even with that, it still does find a way to be entertaining and be very. As a matter of fact, I would say, to me personally, the weakest episode, like the most middle ground episode for me out of the 5, was the 4th episode. While it does kind of set the stage for what comes in the 5th episode, which I'll be honest, I did not finish the 5th episode. I started it, but I did not finish it. Okay, so I don't really know what happened in the 5th episode, but I do hear that 5th episode is the one that gives you a lot of backstory and a lot of things that happen. So I am excited to go back and watch it. But I do think this is, and with that said, I do think this is something that I'm going to definitely revisit to talk about in terms of how it ends, because I'm very excited, because I do know Slappy the Dummy is going to be a part of this. He's in the posters and everything, so it's no spoiler. But I'm very excited for Slappy to become a part of this iteration and telling of Goosebumps, because if the way that they're leaning into the darker storytelling is any indication, I do believe that the Slappy story is going to be more horrifying as it was in the book, because I did read an R.L. Stein book when I was coming up, and I do believe it was the Slappy story. Or it may not have been Night of the Living Dummy, but it was a story that featured Slappy. And the one thing I remember is that it was a part where the girl, she was like asleep, and then she woke up and she realized Slappy was walking in the room and like put his little wooden puppet hands around her neck and started choking her. And like she's like, as you read the story, she's like, and you start to squeeze my neck, and I started to lose consciousness, and I didn't know what to do. I couldn't scream and all that good stuff. So like, I can only imagine that if they lean into the darker side of that story, or even just lean into the darkness of what's being set up in this series as a whole, I do definitely think that the Slappy stories will be, because they're doing the two-parter, because Night of the Living Dummy has always been like more than one story, right? So like, I feel like if they lean into the darkness that they're setting up, the darker storytelling that they're setting up for the Slappy story, I feel like it's going to be horrifying. Not like too scary, of course, because this is still kind of family oriented in a way. But I definitely feel like there's going to be like whoa, like chills through your spine or something. Which is cool, because I do appreciate that. I'm saying all this, and I will say, like, you might be wondering, like, okay, well, can I watch this with my kid? Can I watch this with my young kid, my 6-year-old, my 5-year-old, my 8-year-old, my 10-year-old? You can. Again, like I said, they do have a lot of the modern things that happen. So depending on how you feel about certain modern things that you put in modern day media would depend on necessarily how you as a parent might feel about this. But overall, like this, like you can watch this with your kid. You can watch this with your kid. You're just going to have to really sit there with them, because there is some imagery that might kind of frighten them a little bit. But again, that is the point of Goosebumps. Goosebumps was made to be kids horror. And it wasn't going to be kids horror that kind of said, ooh, that's spooky, isn't it? No, it was kids horror that said, yo, it's scary. Like, yeah. R.L. Stein was master of kids horror. Yeah, he made kids horror. Like, and I do remember, I think there was a point where there was a lot of controversy around his books, because it was like, are these too scary for the kids? Like, he even made scary stories targeted towards teenagers, which was the book collection I had. It was like an anthology series, real quick tangent. And that anthology series, it was targeted towards the teens, and even said like, yo, this is kind of more like for the teens and the older kids, you know what I'm saying, to provide more intense scares. And it was a couple of them stories that kind of made me a little scared to sleep at night. I ain't gonna hold you. I'm like 13, 14, like 12, I think, like between 12 and 14, and I'm just like, yeah, nah, this is wild. So that said, I do like they kind of label it's weird that they label this as a horror comedy, but there's really not a lot of comedy in there, but it is a lot of horror. Like, there is your fair share of scares and spooks and whatnot. So, and it's not like something like, yeah, like that. Like, at least I haven't seen that yet. But it is like just like the stuff that will creep you out and stuff like that, which again is the point of Goosebumps, which is why it's called Goosebumps, which is why it's released it was released on Friday the 13th in the month of October, which is the Halloween month. But getting a little bit off track. All in all, I say, to answer the question directly, I think you can watch this with your kids, your younger kids, but I would sit there with them just to make sure they're okay. But yeah, other than that, though, I don't think it would be a bad idea to let them watch it. It's not that bad, and I think older kids, even parents, I think will get a really good enjoyment out of this. I mean, I got a lot of enjoyment out of it, and I watched it with a friend of mine. She got a lot of enjoyment out of it, and I was explaining the series and how it is to other people, and I think that they're going to get enjoyment out of it. So definitely, think it's worth checking out. Yeah, that's all I really got to say. So Goosebumps. I don't have y'all see what format I'm doing this review on tonight. So no, I don't. Hold on, I'm about to blow your minds to give y'all my thoughts. Hold on. Bam! I'm here. Change the camera view, nigga. Nah, but
So what do I? The critical reception of the show so far, it is it's a 6.4 out of 10 on IMDb, 74% on Rotten Tomatoes. Me personally, I give this show solid. Being real nice with my ratings lately, but I give this show a.
Okay. Ha, I'm back. All right, so that's crazy. My whole computer just froze. That's why I was doing this. So overall, I will give the. I do my reviews live, just in case y'all was wondering. So live problems, live solutions. But I give this show, having thought through the freeze and everything, I give this show. I give it 4 stars. I give it 4 stars. I do think it's good. I think it's scary. I think it's fun to watch. Um, yeah, and I can't wait for the rest of the 5 episodes. So far, I'll give it 4 stars. I'm really excited to the rest of the 6 episodes left because I still have to finish episode 5. So yeah, I definitely can't wait to finish it and see what happens. And I can't wait for just to see what else we got in store. But that's all I got for you guys tonight. I'm gonna go ahead and dip out of here. Thank you all for tuning in. Remember, hit that like button down below. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this review throughout all the technical difficulties. Live, but through all the technical difficulties, if you enjoyed this review, leave a like on down below, comment below, let me know what you think. If you're excited, if you enjoyed this series, if you have any type of nostalgia for Goosebumps, let me know down below. And until next time, stay tuned because there's more BrickWall horror coming to you this month. It ain't over yet. It ain't over till the 31st, baby. So we in here like swimwear. And so just remember, hit that like button down below and all that. Follow us on social media. All links in the description. And until next time, be easy, stay breezy. Peace.